There's a saying in business, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. In this lecture, we're going to take some time to talk about measuring the performance of a digital service. What we'll cover is the makeup of the single score for a digital service performance, how that score rolls up through the organization, and what those lowest level key performance indicators are. To kick this one off, we'll revisit a digital service scorecard from the service owner workspace. We'll start by making several observations on our digital service scorecards. First, you can see that we have two different offerings underneath this digital service. A quick sidebar on this. Some of these services will have up to 10 different offerings underneath them, and some will only have one. Both are perfectly normal. What we want to focus on for this lecture are those individual scores underneath. We'll take a look at what makes up an offering score next, but for now, let's just understand everything above the offerings. Just like we did for the estimated cost in an earlier lecture, the estimated spend metric, these scores roll up. The highlighted scores on the service offerings roll up to the parent digital service first. An offering can't have more than one parent. That offering is only going to roll up to one parent, any of the individual offerings. The scorecard adds up the weights multiplied by the scores. In this case, the score would be 33.04, and that would be the combined score of those two different offerings underneath. Like I said, if there were up to 10, that would just be the same calculation that they would use, which is the same score that's shown in the parent. For the parent portfolio, the services are also weighted because some may be more critical or more important than others. We can't see the weight of this service from here. In this case, the 3304 would roll up to the administration portfolio. A weight would be applied to it, just like the weight was applied underneath to those individual offerings that we talked about. Some of you, and if it were me, I'd be asking the same thing. Why is this important? What I can offer is that not everyone agrees what makes a digital service good. A score is at least something your organization can agree on as a benchmark to improve on. What makes up this score is largely up to you, but we'll offer some guidance to help you get started. All you have to do to see what is rolling up to the service offering is click on that offering that you want to learn more about. In drilling down, you'll always land on the overview screen of the service offering scorecard. What we really want to see is the information, and for that we just click on the Info tab. This is the guidance that I was mentioning. If you don't know where to start, these are 5 common areas. Activity, which is based on how many people submit catalog requests for your offering. In this case, how many people requested the Jagger procurement service offering. Customer satisfaction, which is based on survey scores. The sending and receiving of surveys is built right into the scorecard. As the service owner, you may want to adjust the frequency that these get sent out, but everything is there for you to get started. The availability metric comes from the noted outages table. There are scheduled and unscheduled outages. Unscheduled would mean that something unexpected, and this is the one that impacts availability. Scheduled is usually for some type of maintenance on the service. Stability is measured based on unexpected work being done to the offering. Emergency changes, priority 1 incidents, things that would indicate a service degradation. Finally, the breached SLA is when incidents and/or requests for services aren't responded to in a timely fashion. The definition of acceptable versus unacceptable is defined further as part of the service design. Note that it's up to the service team to determine things like acceptable activity or acceptable customer satisfaction. Ideally, most of these thresholds get set at the organization level so you can compare different services. But again, these levels are up for debate by your organization. For the 101 level, try to remember or take a mental note of the two concepts that we shared. Number one, performance scores for services and service portfolios are defined by those underlying service offering scores. So why is that? It's due to the fact that the service offerings are the front line. They are what connects the business to the technology, which is what the service is all about. Number two, the 5 metrics that we recommend are activity on the service offering, people coming in to look at your service or request it, customer satisfaction from surveys, availability measured by the operations team's table that they enter outages into, stability, which is unexpected work, and breached SLA. And the breached SLA is from the service level agreement that we'll talk about soon. That's it for the high-level performance of a digital service. We'll see you in the next lecture.